All right. First one, huh?
First video.
Been a little bit of a journey getting here, huh?
A lot of work.
What have we been? Probably 2 months.
Oh yeah. Yeah, 2 months.
We're sitting at table and
Yep.
we broke out that conversation.
3 hours.
No shit.
Yep.
And then,
With some
because we were
coffee.
grilling, I'm like, we finished talking.
Yeah.
And then I go, holy shit, why didn't we hit record on
That
a
would have
cell
been a
phone?
good podcast.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
And it was like,
Right. We're
we
like,
went for it.
we're sitting here, once a week doing this anyways. Why not
Right.
send it out to the world, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was a great conversation too.
I know.
You know.
That's one I wish I could have captured.
So, what is your dream for this channel? What are you trying to accomplish?
I have a desire to learn. I have a desire to learn and understand things better, have a better
Okay.
perspective. Not only that, but I discovered the other day dark chocolate covered espresso beans.
Really?
I'm like, how at my age did I never know about these things?
I
The
was
guy at
wondering.
work was eating them. And I'm like, hey, what are those? I thought they're I said, oh, chocolate covered raisins?
Right.
He's like, no, they're dark chocolate covered espresso beans.
Oh God,
What?
I want some.
He goes, yeah. He goes, you want to try one? I'm like, yeah, he had a container of them.
Yeah.
So I took one out. I was like, oh God. like,
Yeah.
holy shit.
So we got to order.
I
some,
watched
so.
3 guys empty 2 containers. And dude, they were wound like fucking
Oh,
those
yeah.
little toys.
That's what I'm
They were
thinking.
bouncing around the shop. Yeah. And I'm like,
Yeah.
I'm surprised they don't start handing these out at the door when we start our shift. You know?
It's mandatory. You know.
So, yeah, I'm just intrigued by shit I mean, whether it's knowledge, history, science, biology, health,
Right.
or simple as something I never even knew existed, like a frickin' chocolate covered coffee bean.
We got to
It's
order
like-
some of those.
I got some out there.
Do you?
Yeah, we
Oh, yeah.
I forgot
Yeah.
all about it when you got here.
Yeah.
Yeah, Ryan knew later.
I'm pretty
What-
sure that's what they were putting in my coffee at that one coffee shop. But I told you they put the coffee beans right in there
Yeah.
on top.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's
Well-
probably what it was.
You know, the coffee I make,
Yeah.
and what it is it's if anybody listening, damn, what's it called? It's at Big B. It's a mocha.
Yeah.
I believe
they're-
it. Yeah, I think it's the
they're
mocha. So it's pretty much chocolate milk, coffee over ice. We make it whipped on top.
Yeah.
What I did is I put a couple of those beans in the
Mhm.
grinder, just like 3 of them, just burped it a couple times.
Yeah.
Put them on top of that whip on
Right.
top. Oh God.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
Goodness.
Oh God, it's so good. But
Yeah.
yeah, it's things like that. It's like how do I make it this far in life? And I love coffee. I mean, how many?
Mhm.
Remember the
How many
first
coffees we
iteration?
had?
Remember the first iteration of mochas
Yeah.
I made,
Right.
right? And then it evolved into this new one.
Keep perfecting it.
And they're sugar free too, right?
Yeah.
It's sugar the chocolate cocktail mix for the chocolate milk.
Yeah.
It's chocolate or sugar free powder, cocoa, Splenda, and then just a shot of sugar free Hershey syrup in
Right.
there. Mix that up, milk, mix that up. Cup of coffee, you gotta make it early, put it
Yeah.
in the fridge or the freezer.
To cool it.
So it's nice and cold. Pour them together in the cup, whipping, lid.
Right.
And now look how good those things
And
are.
I don't really like sugar free, and
Right.
I pound those.
Right.
Those are so good.
Right.
You know.
I don't even buy them at
Yeah.
any of the coffee shops anymore because
No,
they're so
there's-
good. Here I
yeah.
got it dialed. What I feel is dialed in.
Yeah, it's
So
really
I
good.
just
You
I
can't
just-
really tell the difference.
I
They're
love
great.
the way because I
Yeah.
did have one. We were out in I got one while we were out one time, and I'm like, I was kind of disappointed almost.
Yeah.
You know, like, because I've tweaked it, right?
Yeah.
You know, just like pumpkin pies, right?
Right.
Right. Again, learning, right?
Yeah.
Like, because you know, I try to be as healthy as I can and try to reduce sugar and carbs and that. So
Sure.
last fall, I wanted pumpkin pie, but I didn't want all the shit in a pumpkin pie that you
Right.
would get making it traditionally. So I had to find a way to make it super low carb and sugar free.
Yeah.
But man,
They're good.
it was a journey though, right?
Yeah.
But how many did I feed to the chickens?
Right. Yeah, bad pie. Yeah.
So it's just learn, like baking something I never done, but it's something interesting because it takes me out of my comfort zone.
Sure.
Makes me learn something I've never done before, but then the accomplishment, like when you
Right.
start getting it dialed in, then you
Sure.
come over, I'm like, dude, this is sugar free, and you're like,
No
what?
way.
now I'm pretty much baking you one just to take
Yeah.
home,
Right.
outside of
Oh,
the
I
one
love
we have
them.
for dinner.
They're
Because
great.
yeah, I haven't found, everybody says they're delicious. They would have never known they're sugar free.
No, not at all.
Because we took one to Thanksgiving with family last year,
Yeah.
and they're like, it's gonna taste like shit, right? Because it's
Yeah.
healthy, right? And a couple people try. There are a couple that wouldn't try it. They're just
Sure.
like, no. But the couple that did are like, whoa, like, are
Couldn't
you
believe
serious?
it.
Yeah. And two of them you personally know,
Right.
and Lucky,
It's the journey, huh?
Yeah, it's just, it's really, and this is part of the journey, right? The math problem, right?
Yeah.
It's being humble and going, I don't know how to do this.
Right.
And it's learning how to do something that you don't know how to do. Whether you want to say baking's difficult or not,
Sure.
whatever,
I'd say it is. It is for me.
It's like it's an art, right? That's
Right.
why everybody wants Grandma's recipe, right?
Sure.
Because Grandma took frickin' 40 years to perfect that.
Right. A
she
whole
did,
lifetime.
Yeah, she didn't just look in the book. She had to, that's why she had a base recipe, right?
Right.
And then she tweaked it along
yeah.
the way.
Put her pinch to it.
Right.
Right.
And then everybody loves it, right? Everybody loves
Right.
Grandma's cooking,
Yeah.
So, yeah, I definitely think it's an art, and I think, it takes a long time to learn how to do it. And again, it's just figuring out something I've never done before. Then it makes me think a lot more.
Right.
It humbles me. It's like going to work someplace. Say you had a job for 10 years doing appliance repair, right? And then all of a sudden you go to, said job, and you start entry level at the bottom. It's going to humble you because you forgot over 10 years of what it was like to be the new guy and have to learn something new.
Yeah.
And I got humbled almost in that situation. It was by my choice, but all of a sudden I realized, like, holy shit, like, I forgot what it was like to be the new guy.
Yeah.
Know
nothing.
And it humbled me, like, and even that was over 5 years ago.
Right.
But it's changed me forever because I have a different perspective on it now. Because I went so long of being the veteran senior guy, right, in a shop, to starting over, and then it was like, whoa, like I really understood, like, if I'm ever gonna train someone in the future, now,
don't forget that.
right, now I have more patience, right? Now I have a deep respect for being the new guy again, because it humbled me.
Right.
It deeply humbled me. And I like now, the more I get humbled, the more I like it. Because now, my ego, I don't give a shit, right?
Right.
Like, I'm trying to just get rid of my ego. I don't care anymore. If I don't know something and you know it, and I ask you, Yeah, right. We've all done it, right? Like
Right.
we didn't want to act like we didn't know what we were talking
Oh,
about.
sure. You just do the nod.
Yeah.
yeah. I'm with you.
Yeah.
Right.
Right?
Yeah.
Now I'm like, oh, explain that to me.
Sure.
Because I don't give a shit. I don't know if
Right.
it's age. I don't know if it's because I've intentionally been humbling myself trying to get rid of that. And I don't even know where it started. Honestly. I don't know if it started because of that. You know?
Right.
And it started a journey. You know? No different than this, right?
Exactly.
This isn't going to be great, right? It's
No.
gonna, you know,
It'll be clumsy.
Right.
You know.
We've
right.
done this,
Fumble.
but how many? I was trying to think.
Oh God, yeah. I
What
already know
if
where
you
you're
had to
going.
guess?
If I had to guess, and this is how good it is because you didn't even tell me what you're thinking, but I'll almost guarantee we're thinking the same thing. We've been sitting around having conversations
There you go.
like this for probably, if I had to guess off the top of my head, 10 years.
Yeah,
It's got to be.
I would assume.
Yeah.
I was trying to think about it the other day.
It's a long time, and just thousands and thousands of hours
Right.
of just of talking. You know, challenging each other to be better, but always in a graceful way. Like
Yeah.
I think our conversations are very thoughtful
Yeah.
and thought provoking,
Yeah.
and they're good. We've been doing this forever. And just, you know, a couple months ago, you're like, you know, that would have been a great podcast. We should have just recorded it on the phone, and we thought, well, let's do that next time then. And then, you know, it blew up to this.
Well,
so.
then we said, I think it was next week.
Yeah.
Well, it took some unique events
Yeah.
happening for this.
Right. To be
Right.
able to do this.
Right.
Right.
Which
it kind of fell into
in
place.
your life
Yep.
and in my life,
Both.
which is really weird, right?
Yeah.
For this. So then we're like, wait a minute, if we're going to do it, why don't we
Yeah.
we have this opportunity.
Right.
Why don't we turn this into something,
Right.
right?
And then we start thinking studio and
Right.
like a little bit more than just
Yeah.
where we were at. And
Yeah.
And the moon and the stars lined up just right.
I
It
know.
was
Which
crazy.
is weird, right?
It just kind of, you know, I think for me, what I want to gain out of this is, well, like you said, to grow as a person, you know, to show our journey to other people, because we've been on this journey for a long time. We're very much the same people, but different people from where we started. You know, we were, you know, you think back at the beginning of this, how opinionated and just solid in our thought process, like, you know, unmovable, right?
Yeah.
Like, this is what I believe, and nothing will ever change my mind, to very, I'd say, more considerate about the idea that, you know, there's more than just my opinion,
Yeah.
right? And just because I believe this doesn't necessarily mean that I'm right.
Yeah.
So I want to be challenged a little bit, and I want to think about things from other perspectives, you
Right.
know. And I think if we can go on our journey that we're on and let people view it, watch it, participate in it, even.
Yeah, I want to see feedback. I
Right.
want people to comment and
Yeah, you know, hey, look at these two knuckleheads.
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
know.
yeah,
I think if the idea of just getting someone to think,
Yeah.
not tell them what to think, but just to think,
yeah,
I think is the lesson that I've learned over the years with you, batting this back and forth.
And
because
we do.
You've humbled me too. You
Yeah.
know, different times where I was like, no, it's like this, and then, you know, I listened to your point of view, and there's times you've really like swung me the other way, and I thought, you know what, he's right, I'm not. So
Yeah.
I
Same,
like that.
likewise, right?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
which it's still odd because I think last week when we were sitting down talking, and you hit me with Bigfoot,
Yeah.
and it's amazing. It's amazing the conversations you and I can have,
Yeah.
but still be so freaking far apart.
I know. In some ways, we're so kind of similar and
Yeah.
the same, but in other ways, we're so different. You know,
I
like,
just
the
I
idea
find-
of
I
not
find-
believing in Bigfoot just blows my mind. You know,
as much as believing does
Right.
for me, right? Like,
Right.
but I find it so unique that that you do, you know, and our people can be. I guess it goes back to there are certain things we don't agree on.
Right.
But we don't care though. We're not like, oh, well, you believe in Bigfoot. We can't talk anymore. You're too far out there.
I don't want you to be a replica of me.
Right.
You know what I mean? Right. Or vice versa, because then the conversations would be boring.
I like that uniqueness that you can hit me with Bigfoot.
And for the record, I've never seen Bigfoot. It's just a belief, you know. And the conversation, you know, I mean, we talked about it for an hour, like batting it back and forth why I believe, you know. So some background. Cave drawings all around the world when, you know, depicting Bigfoot when humans weren't really traveling the globe. It just, I find it hard to believe that they all have the same story. It's got to be credible, you know. In my mind, the way I process that information, all the Bigfoot sightings now, and I know a lot of them are fake. You know, I've seen the fake videos, and I understand the critics. You know, oh, there's trail cams out there. How come no one's never caught a really good, clear picture of Bigfoot? I guess my answer would be there's probably not many of them, but I can't imagine every one of them people were mistaken or lied. You know, there's got to be some truth to it, I think. So,
and my side is, I believe there was probably something at some time when there were very few of us around, and we know by. Well, you can search it. I mean, there are, at one point there were people larger than us, hairier than us, walking the earth, right? Or I don't want to say people, but whatever.
Yeah, primates,
right?
Whatever.
Something, some form of
some sort of cave gorilla. Like bears were bigger, right? Tigers were bigger.
And so I don't know. I don't know. But today I'm like, I'm gonna need some proof.
Yeah.
Right.
And I watch the guys, and I like to watch them on TV hunt for Bigfoot. It's fun to watch, but really, I think if you really wanted to prove that Bigfoot existed and really wanted like proof, I don't think you could do it with all this technology and like going out with this Humvee that's all decked out with infrared and people beating on trees with sticks. I don't know. I think maybe, to me, in my mind, anyways, you'd have to, like hunting, like anything else, scent-proof, quiet, by yourself, alone, solo, maybe high in a tree, in a blind, and, how many hours do you put out in the argument or debate that me and you had was, there's deer all over here, and still how many days have you sat in the woods for day after day after day and not even see one?
Right.
And there's, I would believe a lot more deer than there are Bigfoot. Like I said, I believe Bigfoot exists. I just don't think there's many, and I think they're intelligent, and that's why we don't see them. I'd love to hit one with a car.
I don't know. I just think at this day and age, by now, people trekking all over the mountains, elk hunting, whatever, sheep hunting, and everybody's videotaping these days. You go on YouTube and there's no shortage of elk videos out west and mountain lion videos out west.
You got
they run these mountain lions for miles and miles, and they cover ground.
Yeah.
All over out west.
Yeah.
With camera crews a lot of the time.
I don't know.
I can't believe these dogs have never come on Bigfoot.
I'll tell you another. Well, because they're trained for the lion, though, right?
Yeah.
So that's what they're chasing. Otherwise, they would stop and chase a fox or
possibly. But a lot of these cats, a lot of them are hunted in snow.
Right.
And they're covering.
And they're not finding
10, 20 miles, and it's mountain lion.
But I think because one of the bits of proof that I seen that I thought was kind of credible, I thought it was neat. It was very interesting. Was they took Bigfoot sightings and they superimposed them over a map of the United States and date stamp them.
Right.
And it actually showed a migration through the country of when these sightings are coming in.
So,
and how can
what migration
a million
pattern
people,
did they follow?
Like as colder temperatures would hit, maybe they would come a little further down the mountain and across the country, right? So what they believe, the scientists, whoever he was that helped do this, was they're following food. As food gets scarce, they start to move with it. And I thought, well, how could you fake that? I mean, you'd have to coordinate all these Bigfoot sightings across the board, and we know that's not happening. So I don't know. To me, it just was another tidbit of credible information. Kind of leads me down that path. I know that it wasn't that long ago the giant squid was thought to be a myth from ancient sailors, until one washed up on a beach and they just finally got video of one. They had to tag a 6-foot squid with a camera and send it down deep into the ocean, and it got attacked by a giant squid, and they finally got one on video. Right. So and I know the oceans are a lot more vast and unexplored than land, but some of those shows I've watched, when you see like Washington State's, oh man, there's a lot of mountains and trees and deep forests that I could see where something could hide, Yeah,
I'm sure this will come up again.
We'll be debating that till one of us get proof, huh?
I guess.
I think the things that I love about our conversations is we can go from Bigfoot to alien abductions to politics, and just kind of the things that's going on week by week in the world. And
I'm going to take a hard left turn right here because I fucking ADD. I had a dream the other night. I'm not going to get into the dream right now.
Okay.
But when I woke up, it made me realize how calm I am in my dream. Like, even though, like, I look around and I know it's not like my house. It's like it's like a weird version of it.
An abstract.
But it's not even my couch. But I'm fine being in that setting.
Yeah.
I'm not like, right? You just go with it, right? In the dream, you're just like, oh, okay.
Right.
Like.
Familiar still.
It's weird. I noticed I woke up, I'm like, why didn't that bother me?
Yeah, you would think it would yank you right out of a dream. Like, you'd walk in and go, wait a minute, this is all wrong. Yeah. I don't know.
But no matter what, you're just completely cool with it.
Because you're in the Matrix.
Yeah. Maybe.
Your brain's telling you to believe it, maybe. I don't know. I understand what you're saying, though. Because a lot of times when I've had dreams of, like, my home, it's never... It'll either be my home at the current time, but it was a house I grew up in, so it doesn't make any sense, like why it would be in this area, or it's like that's the home, but it's taking place back when I was a kid, or things.
But it's still not like you look at a picture of that house, right?
Right.
Or you think about it now, what that house is like.
Exactly.
In the dream,
it's still different.
Yeah, it's some weird loose representation of, but. It's just weird how comfortable it felt, even though it wasn't.
That's a good point.
When I wake up and walk in my living room, that wasn't the same living room I walked into in that dream.
Right.
But it felt like my living room.
Yeah.
And I can still, I can still see the couch that I laid down on in this dream.
Wow.
And it wasn't even in the place my couch is in, but it was like normal.
So it's just like your brain telling you to buy it,
I don't know. I don't know.
Well, I mean, your brain can believe all kinds of stuff.
Maybe it is another dimension. I
Could be.
Freaking know.
Yeah.
I just when I woke up, I don't know why that thought hit me. Like, man, I was so comfortable. Right. I laid right down on that couch.
Never thought twice.
Never thought twice. Like it was my living room. The couch wasn't even in the right spot in my living room. It wasn't. And I can still see the color of the couch, and it's not even close to the color of mine. Right. I'm like, why was I so comfortable? Why wasn't I...
Yeah, I don't know. That's kind of deep, man.
Did you listen to that podcast I sent you the other day, and I said go to like hour 2 or whatever?
Yep.
Did you hear what he said about the ride on the clear slide? Remember that dream
Yeah.
I told you?
Right.
Where I was lucid dreaming?
Yeah.
And I took the ride up the clear slide?
Right.
That's why I was like, holy shit.
Right.
Like, that's why I sent it right to you.
Yeah.
I'm like, dude, go to hour 2 or whatever
Right.
and start listening at 1:58 or whatever. I'm like,
Yeah, I did
That
that.
freaked
Then
me
I
out.
backed it up and listened to the whole thing just because, it was
oh,
good.
that was a good podcast.
Yeah, it was really good.
Freaking good podcast.
I enjoyed that.
That one.
It had a couple points in there that made you really stop and think,
Oh.
like, wow, man, this is
Right.
really challenging my brain here.
Yeah. That's why I like listening to podcasts. I like listening to people that are way smarter than me.
Right.
Help me understand things that I don't understand or I've never
Sure.
thought of. You
I
know.
just never thought of them in that way.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
But when he said taking the ride on the clear slide,
Yeah.
and I can still tell you that dream right now,
Yeah.
just like it freaking happened. I promise
Yeah.
you there will be no deviation in that story. Because when I told it to you, you were like,
What?
like, I'm like,
Yeah.
and I was like, dude, like, because I could see it still so vividly
Sure.
right now. And you're like, all right.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know what to make out of that one.
But then to hear it, then when he said on that
Sure.
podcast, I'm like, wait, what? Like,
Yeah,
okay, what does this mean?
right. I would think there's some meaning to it.
Yeah.
I think that's why some of them you have, they're so vivid and, like, you're going to remember it forever. That there's just something in my mind, at least, that to me, it seems like those are dreams that you're meant to remember, like you're meant to take something away from them, and that's why they're just with you like that. Because, we've talked multiple times of dreams you had 20 years ago that you can still remember, and I believe there's a meaning in there, either representation sometimes of things that's going on in your life that you're thinking about, or, in my mind, there's a spiritual aspect to it too that, I think we get information sometimes that, the big guy's saying, hey, think about this for the next week, like...
Yeah, maybe. I don't...
It's possible.
I mean...
there's definitely more to it than what we can understand, I believe, Some of them just seem to mean something even though you can't quite put your finger on it. It's a feeling, just...
I wonder how many people have crazy dreams like that but are too scared to share it. Like, fucking people are gonna think, like,
I'm sure
either
lots of people.
I'm lying or
I'm crazy
or like, who dreams that, or
right.
Yeah, it's like, where do you go? Where do you go when you dream? Where is that place? Because it feels like another place.
Maybe it is.
It definitely feels like it's someplace different.
I'm telling you, 20 years ago I had the dream that I went to a different place, and no one can convince me that did not really happen. I don't know if it was just my soul while I was sleeping left and went to this place, but I was there, and it was... I'll never forget it. I'll never forget how I felt while I was there. I'll never forget kind of even trying to comprehend what it looked like, and I remember struggling, to, like, colors that just are not on our spectrum of colors. I don't even know how to describe them, right? Like, I can't say, well, it was kind of, blue. They were colors that don't even exist in this world. How can your mind even make that up? Like, I don't know.
You know what's even sadder to me is people that say they don't dream.
Right.
So I vivid dream like every night.
Yeah, me too.
And it's like, man, it's the places, the things I see and the places I go, I just think,
yeah,
what kind of life is it if you never dream?
Right.
Now, either A, they're lying because they're afraid of judgment, or
Right.
B, I know there are some people that just don't remember their dreams.
Sure.
Like, I should say I hear, because I
Right.
don't know, because I remember my dreams, so
I
I don't know what.
I read everybody dreams, just some people don't remember them.
I just think how sad, man.
Yeah.
Like, because I'll think about dreams, like, well, I think about dreams that happened 8 years ago, like you
Right.
said, just like, and I can still see it, like the wolf
Yeah.
dreams.
Yeah.
There's 2 wolf dreams that
Will never go away.
just like they happened 10 minutes ago, right?
Yep.
And
I'll tell you, for the last week, I've probably had, I don't know, 8, 9, 10 different dreams in my cabin.
really?
Yeah, it's just like for
Oh, well,
a solid
you told me
week.
one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's I've had another dozen since
Really?
then. And one way or another, like, what's that mean? I don't know. Am I homesick for my old place? Or maybe
Well, probably
just
the state of the world.
Yeah,
yeah,
you know,
yeah.
I
There's
was
probably
gonna
some
say,
comfort in your mind, you know,
of
about
being
thinking
there,
about.
you know.
Yeah, about thinking about that. No
Yep.
doubt. No doubt.
There's
Man,
got to
we
be
had some-
something to it, you know. So
When you left that and went to this
I know.
other life, and I watched it, I was just like, it didn't make
No.
sense in my brain.
You know,
It's as complex in my brain as your divorce.
Right.
I'm just gonna say that right
Yeah.
now.
right.
It just does not make sense. Those are both like dreams
Yeah,
that don't
two
make
events
sense.
that just don't,
Yeah,
shouldn't.
they just
you
don't
know.
compute in my brain.
Yeah, I think when I left, I didn't want to leave, right? That
Yeah.
place. I didn't want to leave that place. Neither one of us did.
Yeah.
But I felt compelled to, even though I didn't want to, you know. And I tried to just have faith in it, like, you know, it's gonna roll out the way it's just things happen the way they're meant to. I don't believe in random or nothing like that. I
Right.
believe that things just go the way they are supposed to.
Yeah, I get it.
But I think when I left, a part of me was just wrecked, and I think for both of us, I'm sure it was the same for her too. Like being lost and not really knowing who you are all of a sudden, because
Yeah.
it was such an integral part of
Right.
who we were.
Yeah.
You know,
That's-
and I think it just that hurt.
And even for
and-
people on the outside looking
it
in,
was
right?
just
Like,
it was really hard to recover from that.
well, and you guys had put so much time into
Yes,
that property
and
the
hard
cabin
work and blood, sweat, and
Right.
tears, man.
And-
Like, you know,
a pretty difficult life.
yes.
And for those that don't know you, like, you're talking damn near Amish, right?
Yeah, 7 years
That'd
off
be the
grid.
closest.
Actually, I would even bet there was a good year to a year and a half of that the Amish lived way better, way easier. They had things I didn't have, you know,
Yeah.
propane and, you know, lights. You know, I outhouse. I didn't even have that
Yeah.
in the very beginning. It was just a shell of a cabin with no electrical, plumbing, no septic, no well, nothing. And we built it up to a nice, a great place. Really, it was a great place. So I think when we plugged back into
Then you
normal
pivoted
life,
180, right?
I think
I
it
mean-
just I think it just broke. It helped break everything apart. I think so.
Yeah. Not to hash that out, but
Right. And I think,
Yes.
you know, and then again, believing that things happen the way they're
Yeah.
supposed to. After,
Yeah.
so for you guys that don't know, after that move had been made, we had a miracle child. So, would have been a lot more difficult with him in
Sure.
that
No
life
doubt.
than.
No doubt.
So I think that had to go away because he was coming.
No
you
doubt.
know, he was
No doubt.
coming. So.
yeah.
And to me, that kind of makes sense then. And who knows? He gets a little bit older. Maybe I'll I'll drag him back in the woods and we'll do it again. You know,
Yeah.
for sure. I miss it. It was a great life, a hard life, but a very rewarding, humble. Again, humility. You know.
Capone got his first coon.
Yeah.
Capone is a coon hound, by the way. Blue tick coon hound.
Beautiful
Coon hound.
blue tick.
He got his first coon back there.
Yeah.
Yeah, you took the pictures.
Yep.
We weighed him too.
Yeah.
Because remember the first one holed up.
Yeah.
Got to the tree. Remember we could just see his tail
Yeah.
in the hole. He wouldn't move, right? Couldn't
No way.
beat on that tree all night.
Yep.
We were gonna go get a chainsaw and cut
Yeah,
that tree
cut the
down.
tree right
Because
down.
the first
Yeah.
coon he ever treed.
Right.
And then we're like, gosh. So we pull him out. And then we almost thought he went back to that same tree because he ran back in that direction. We're like, oh,
Right.
crap, you know. And we go back there and he was on a different tree. Coon, right in the open.
Yeah. Just meant to be, man. It was beautiful.
Yeah, that was cool.
Yeah.
We
Something
got-
I'll never forget.
Yeah, we got a couple coon over there
Yeah.
like that. Remember that? Remember we were over at that stupid box blind. It was way up in the air, box blind.
Huh.
Rifle
Alright.
shack. It was like
Oh,
It was like log-sided.
Yeah. When we shot.
You couldn't get in it for whatever reason, right? There's like no ladder or something.
They must have some sort of ladder that they just removed to keep people from getting in it. You know?
Yeah, and remember we had gone over there, and you're like, "Oh, son, I think coon's sleeping there."
Yeah.
And then we were standing there bullshitting. Your son, my son, you and I were there. Then all of a sudden we're like, "Where's Capone at?"
Yeah.
And I look on the GPS. He's like quarter mile away, and all of a sudden we hear him open up.
Yeah.
And he's going, and he's going. And he made it all the way over on that state land across that drive that goes back in there.
To get back up.
Yeah, and he went over a half mile. And we get over there, coon, treed. You know, like, we were standing
in
there.
that old blind, that's what it was. It was an old, nasty box blind that
now you remember.
looked like 100 years old.
Yeah.
But yeah, the coons absolutely lived in there, and I thought for sure, you know, well, this is easy. Like, you know, it's like taking them to the zoo here, you know.
Right. And there
was no coons. There was none. Like, completely made a liar out of me. Yeah. But yeah, he was a long ways away.
Yeah.
And you could
because
still
we were just standing there bullshitting. We were just standing there bullshitting, and all of a sudden like, "Where's the dog?" You know?
He went and got a coon.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. He's like, "I'm outie."
Yep. You guys talk all you want. You know.
I got shit to do.
All right.
Yeah. It was
good times.
Yeah. Yeah.
And again, we had great conversations then, you know, walking through the woods at night, just kind of pondering all the mysteries of the universe, huh?
There was nothing like, remember those,
the cigars?
Yeah. Chillin' moose.
Yep.
Chillin' moose. And those, I think they're cohibas.
Yeah.
But we got a lot of those chillin' moose from the smoke shop.
Right.
Man, there was nothing on. Nice fall night.
Yeah.
Crisp air
1
out there.
1 o'clock in the morning, we're sitting on a down tree. Yeah.
We'd find down tree, just about ass squat height.
Perfect.
Sit down, light that cigar, let the dog run.
Yep.
Just sit there and just look up at the stars and the moon and just man, what
talk and think and heal. I mean, that's just good for your soul,
man.
Right?
Those were man, those were fun nights.
Some of the best, for sure.
It's amazing. A guy at work the other day, and he was talking about hunting and, you know, something going wrong on a hunting trip. I'm like, but those are the ones you remember.
Those are the ones you remember.
Right?
How many times did I fall down? You know?
Right. And we sure remember like the night he shot his first coon.
Sure.
And, you know, that time where, you know, we're at that box blind bullshit and you end up a half mile away, but we really remember all the nights where nothing went right. Remember you guys trying to get through that brush?
Oh, man.
When he went way out there and you're like walking backwards.
I was walking backwards through it and like you couldn't crawl through. I've never seen anything so thick in my life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I wonder what animal makes it through there.
I have no idea. It would have been hard for a rabbit to get through there.
He made it through though.
Yeah, I don't know how. Because like I legitimately had to blast a path through this. It was crazy. Yeah, the ones that it just seemed like everything went wrong, but we still had fun. We still laughed all the way through.
And we do today, right?
Yeah. How many times did I fall down and then you're like, "Well, are you okay?" And I'm like, "Yeah." And then you start laughing, going, "Can't you walk?" I'm like, "Not if there's something to trip over."
I felt well. I laughed at the time.
Yeah.
But I felt bad. We're in the middle of that swamp.
Oh, and I went.
Remember,
down?
he went like a mile.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
And you tripped over
that stupid little stump twig thing.
Right into the water.
Right into the water. Yeah, I got pretty wet.
Went over your boots.
Filled my boots up.
I felt like such a dick for laughing.
Yeah, I was walking. You could hear it sloshing around in there.
It's like 10 degrees outside.
Oh, it's cold, man. I knew if I stopped moving, like I was gonna freeze to death. Yeah, let's just keep going. Well,
I actually, I shocked him off that coon. I'm like, I'm not going any further.
Right.
We were in the middle of that swamp. You were soaking wet.
Yeah.
And you could see on the GPS he was.
It was another mile of just marsh.
I'm like, no.
Yeah.
I felt bad.
And you didn't even know, like, wading through this, and we got just boots on.
Right.
Who knows what you would have stepped in?
Yeah.
A hole in there or something, or it could have gotten deep.
Well, and we were following game trails. It was super nasty in there too.
Oh, yeah.
Yep. It was ridiculous.
The animals know how to hide.
Yeah. Yeah, and they cut a nice path through there.
Those were great nights.
Man.
Yeah. Fun fun times.
Yeah.
So yeah, those are the ones that, you know, I think about and smile, and just so many memories like that.
Yeah.
You know, just a whole lifetime full of memories like that.
But that was the point with I was telling my fucking ADD. I was telling that guy that, like, you'll appreciate those, because in the moment
Right.
they sucked, right? When we were
Oh,
cold
yeah.
out there, we're like, God, I just want to
Yeah.
be home in a warm bed.
I
Why are we
got to
out
the truck
here?
and I couldn't feel my toes.
What are we doing?
Right.
You know, like.
Yeah. Thank God I wasn't carrying the cigars. It'd have been so ruined.
But now we
Yeah.
look back and you appreciate that. You know?
Dropping my cell phone through a hole in the ice fishing. Oh, so mad. You know, and I've laughed about it 1,000 times since then. And I have insurance now. Anything that can fit through that hole will. So.
It's raining.
Wow, it sounds like it's pouring.
Holy cow.
Oh, biblical rain.
Whoa. To be able to hear it in here?
Yeah.
Holy crap.
Yeah.
You know what's crazy? Yesterday, Winchester's fiance, they had dinner last night with us. The, what do they call it? High wingback chair in the living room, the one you sit in.
Yeah.
Drops her cell phone beside the cushion. She's sitting there talking, you know. And Winchester's to-be best man came over. They went on that salmon guided. So he wanted me to cook the salmon for him. So I prepared it on the grill and shit. And
I bet you that was good.
And so we were cooking and we're sitting there talking. She's sitting in the chair and she drops her cell phone. And she goes,
Ooh.
And she goes, who else's cell phone's in there? She pulls out another cell phone out of the chair. Yeah.
Wow.
An iPhone.
Really?
Dude, we've had that chair for 2 years.
So you don't know whose phone it is?
Well,
you figure it out?
We're slowly figuring it out.
Right.
It looks like it might be the grandson of the person we bought it from.
Ah, okay.
But what a crazy journey.
Wow.
So, my partner bought it off of Facebook. Someone was selling it.
Right.
Older couple. Really nice house, clean chair, no pets, non-smoking, blah, 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 right?
Right.
And, which was even weirder because this is 2020.
Yeah.
These people are like 70.
Wow.
They're just letting us in their house in 2020. Right? You know what I'm talking about.
Oh, yeah.
You know?
Sure.
Right. Right.
Yeah.
So, I'm thinking, we didn't have the messages anymore from the sale. Obviously, it's 2 years ago.
Right.
Right, from the messenger. But what Curly did is, because we're talking, she's like, how would we find out whose this is? Because you can't unlock it. It's an iPhone, right? But when you bring it up, it was almost like someone had taken a piece of construction paper, right?
Yeah.
And they had wrote what appeared to be a last name with some art. Like
Really?
a drawing. Yeah, like they'd wrote their last name
and that
on
was like their lock screen picture.
Right, picture,
Okay.
right?
Yeah.
So I'm like, I bet that's the last name. Just because of the way the last name, it read like it'd be a last name.
Yeah.
Like, that's a kid in class or something,
Right.
being bored, wrote their name on a piece of paper, and then drew like a pretty cool drawing right below the last name.
Huh.
So Curly goes through my partner's phone, goes back through Google to every place she's gone.
Right.
Which we know this, right?
Right.
Finds the date, finds the people's house. Goes on Fetch Kiss, looks up the owner's name of the house, finds their Facebook.
Nice.
The names don't match, though.
Right.
Okay. But if they have a daughter that's married, the last name would be different. So we start going through their friends list. Find the matching last name. It is their daughter. Find the husband. Find... Because the thing is, when we plugged it into the computer, it said the person's first name under iTunes.
Oh.
It won't let you in, though.
Right.
But it said...
But it says their first name.
Their first name.
Yeah.
So we had the first name, took the last name, under the mom's, guess what? Son.
Yeah.
We think.
Wow. Huh.
Is that
if it
crazy
is
or
his
what?
phone,
Well, we
and he
sent him
gets
a
it
message.
back,
He's in Arizona.
You know, he gets it back a couple years later.
Yeah.
It's gonna be like, wow! I never knew what happened to that phone. It was in that chair all this time.
Yeah.
Got moved around and never got knocked out. Or
when we brought it home, it's only got one cushion.
Right.
We dropped remotes in there.
Yeah.
But we're re-simulating it today.
Yeah.
And there is actually a little bit of a crack that goes a little further down.
A little deeper.
Somehow it must have worked its way. It doesn't even make sense.
Down into
like
that little pocket.
Yeah. How does it work its way back up? She dropped her phone, just picked it up, and there's 2 phones there.
Wow, that's crazy.
2 years later.
Wow.
I'm like, they didn't do a Find My iPhone?
Right.
Because even Curly with her AirPods, she can find her AirPods as long as
I can do mine with my watch.
Right.
You know.
Right.
I don't know. Maybe he was young and he just figured, you know, I got insurance, I'll get a new one. Well, hopefully it's his phone and, you know, you guys can get it back to him.
Yeah, hopefully. It was just a crazy story, though. And then the process of trying to find out who owned it, you know.
Right. Ooh, big thunder.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I don't even know if they'll want it back, but
right.
It wasn't anything. It was like an iPhone 5S or something. It wasn't anything.
So I guess.
But they still might want their phone back. I mean, they had, I don't know.
Yeah, pictures and stuff, videos on there. You know, on mine I got pictures and videos of my kids.
Most of that on Apple, those backed up on the cloud. You know.
Sure.
But yeah, who knows if they'll want it back or if they'll even respond to the message.
So the premise of this channel is kind of, I think we should probably let people know, is just kind of, the idea is just 2 normal guys talking, huh?
Yeah.
Just kind of that, you know, no one's a professional political analyst or anything, or a scientist. We're just kind of
and don't do anything we talk about here.
Right.
I'm not a doctor. I'm not a lawyer. I'm not a politician. I'm not a professional anything.
No. I'm a professional bonehead. That's
professional dumbass most of the time, but don't ever. You know,
we're not giving you any advice.
No. If I ever talk about, because you know I'm very deep into health.
Sure.
But talk to your doctor.
Yeah.
Talk to a professional.
Yeah, don't take our word for it.
Yeah. If I talk about taking a vitamin, don't take a vitamin.
I think
I get my blood work done for a reason.
Right, exactly.
So I know where my levels are.
I think it'll be interesting for people to just kind of hear the common person, you know what I mean, in the world, and kind of how they view things. I think that's the idea of it, and I think
just hear our perspective.
Recipe.
You know, you know, luckily I have a job where I get to listen to podcasts 10 hours a day, and you're in a position where you get to listen to podcasts and watch YouTube videos majority of the day.
And we digest a lot of media. I won't lie, we do. A lot of political media, but you know, it does kind of get a little taxing, I think is the right word sometimes, because we digest so much of it, and a lot of what we watch are, I guess, people they would consider professional. And sometimes I kind of crave, like, what does I get that they feel that way, but across the country, you know, hundreds of millions of people that live here, like, what do they think, the average person, you know, kind of what's their opinion on this? Do they even pay attention to some of this stuff, you know? And if they do, well, how do they think about it? And you don't ever really get that perspective. It's hard to find it.
Well, and what it's made me do is think, how do I really think about this?
And that.
And we've gotten into this before.
Yes.
Because I'm as guilty as anybody out there of just taking someone's opinion and making it my own and going out and spreading that out.
Tribalism.
Right.
Like Tim Pool likes to call it, tribalism. Huh?
Now I'm getting to a point where I'm, again, being humble.
Yeah.
Well, how do I feel about this?
I want the whole
I don't have to agree with said person, right?
Right.
It's okay to have my own opinion.
Yeah. Me and you disagree on as much as we agree on.
Right.
Really.
Right.
I would say it's probably 50-50. You know?
And that's all right.
Yeah, I like it that way.
We ain't gotta be
you know?
assholes to each other just because
No.
we disagree on
We're
shit.
still brothers,
Yeah.
you know?
Have good conversation.
Yeah.
Pick each other. It makes me think like about Bigfoot.
Yeah, see, you'd be thinking about Bigfoot through the night tonight going,
I
huh,
will.
you know, yeah, he made a couple good points.
Yeah.
Maybe you'll dream about him.
Maybe. Maybe. It definitely make me think about it.
Yeah. And I mean, there's lots of stuff like that you make me think of.
Yeah.
You know, take a step back and go, you know, am I being headstrong about this or tunnel vision? I don't want to be tunnel visioned in
No.
life, and I think that's
No, I've spent too much of my life
Yeah.
in that, right?
yeah,
You know, that horse trotting
Yep.
down the road with those blinders,
blinders.
on, just,
yep,
you know,
straightforward.
I have no
Follow the
desire
narrative, you know.
too long. And I still
Yeah.
see people, obviously, right? We still
Right.
see it around us. People just, and it makes you go, man, that's how I was?
Yeah, that's
Whoa.
what I was like. Wow,
Like,
wow.
it, you know, it's like when you drink and drink and drink and drink,
Yeah.
and then you don't drink, but you're around people that are drunk, you're
Yeah.
like, holy shit.
Was
that's how
I that
was.
annoying?
Like,
Yeah.
oh, God. You know,
How
that-
embarrassing.
that's
right.
it's the closest analogy
Yeah.
I can draw to
It's a
how
good
I
one.
feel when I see people doing, and I try to give them different perspective, right?
Sure.
Be like, well, got the food plot done yesterday.
Did you?
Yeah.
All right.
Dude, I mean, I could not have asked for better timing.
Right.
Couldn't I was out there spraying.
Yeah.
I did the whole workup. Anyways, I sprayed my last treatment on there, and she just let go.
Right.
I mean, I was soaked.
yeah.
My hat to my socks. There wasn't a dry spot on me.
Right.
I thought, man, what a blessing
Yep.
to get that amount of rain.
Sure.
Just as I get everything in the ground.
Just set it. You know.
So I was at the elevator getting the stuff to finish
Yeah.
it. I know people out there, what's a food plot? It's basically a spot you plant for game animals, here primarily white-tailed deer, although other animals do
Oh, sure.
benefit from the food plot. You attract them in to a
Yeah.
spot where
You grow
you can
stuff.
harvest them.
Yeah.
It's
that
like
they
a
wanna
big
eat.
garden for deer.
Yeah. Deer garden.
So anyways, so I'm at the elevator, and I went inside, you know, paid whatever, and I go out, and across the way there's a barn, and you go over the back up. and-
Elevator's a place where they sell grain and, you know,
Right.
seeds.
So I back up to the door, and they have workers in there, and
Yeah.
you know,
Load you up.
yeah, what was your order? You know, blah blah blah. And he goes, "Is this for deer?" I said, "Yeah." What do you think about that new fucking law they passed? That's bullshit, ain't it? I'm like,
yeah.
so old me, right?
Right.
Yeah, you're right. That's bullshit. Them making us, you know,
Right.
mandating us to record. So, anyways, I'm like, but now new me, I'm like, maybe,
Right.
maybe not. I said, so I got in this little.
And for the record, this is a debate we had a week ago, and this is one of the things where you made me stop and back up and go, you know, maybe I'm not.
Because you
correct.
found yourself bitching
yeah.
about the same thing.
Exactly. I kind of cornered myself in that, and it was because of that debate going back and forth that it made me realize that, like, yeah, I'm not exactly correct on this.
So what I'm talking about here is in our state, they're mandating every deer harvested in the state has to be reported. So they can record it to get a more accurate assessment of the deer herd size and the harvest amount.
Right.
Okay?
And I'm very, oh my God, it's Big Brother, you know, now they want to know exactly where you're at, and yeah.
Right. And I can understand that
Right.
pushback. And I can appreciate it because of previous history and track
Sure.
records with those
Right.
kind of regulations and mandatations.
To me,
and
every time you give them information, they take it and then they
can.
want more.
They
right?
can. So I'm trying to explain to this guy, and he's younger,
Right.
you know, late 20s, maybe early 30s. I'm like, maybe.
Right.
I said, but maybe it's going to help.
Some good could come out of it, sure.
He goes, well, my granddaddy doesn't even know how to use a computer. And what about him upstate?
Yeah.
and he don't have any service up there, so how is he supposed to call it in? I said, there's probably going to be a grace period. I'm sure there's exceptions. I thought
there was this 3-day period in there.
There's probably exceptions, you know.
If you're way up and
I said, they're going to have multiple ways to report this. You can call it in. You can go online.
Go to a deer check station, I think.
Mail it in. I said, there's going to be multiple opportunities.
Right.
I said, because he was making it sound like at the point you tag it, you have to report it. I'm like, I don't.
Or the ATF's going to parachute in and arrest you. And
right. I'm like, I don't. There's. Well, it's still F and BS.
Right.
And I'm like, all right. Yeah, I don't know what more I can say. No.
Right.
You know.
And I think that was a good debate.
And I understand. I don't mean to cut you off. I understand it because there was a time.
Sure.
In my own mind, I would have joined right in.
Actually, I told you it surprised me when you went. When I brought it up and you went the other way, and I backed up like, whoa, wait, what? Who am I talking to?
Right.
You know, like, yeah,
and I'm 100% guilty.
And I didn't expect that, but what you did, and you made a compelling argument, and I had to back up and say, you know, I might really be wrong on this, or at least I'm not. If at bare minimum, I'm not as right as I thought I was. You know, maybe there is a little bit of right,
and I can still appreciate the caution because I still do have the caution.
Right.
But instead of that being my wall, that my foundation, that's not moving from this point.
Sure.
Now I'm like,
yeah.
And how about this? How about this? How about if we do get a better age class?
Right.
How about if they do reduce the amount of does or bucks or whatever shot in our area and our herd actually grows because
ultimately us being deer hunters, we want a good, healthy herd of deer that are healthy and mature.
Good age class.
Yeah, good age class. And
I like
we both
meat.
want those. Yeah, me too. You know, and if I'm paying that much for a tag, like I want meat out of it.
And right? I told you, the processor charges me the same whether the deer weighs 85 pounds or 185 pounds. They still charge me the same price to process it.
Yep.
I'd rather pay the price and get more meat.
Yeah, absolutely.
Than, you know.
So, you know, I had to step back and think, you know, if some good could come out of this, like, you know, maybe I should soften round the edges a little, right?
Right.
And not be so pointed in my opinion, because if it helps us be more successful, you know, fill our freezer more, like, it's worth it. You know, I've definitely softened my stance on it. I'm cautious about it. But not against it. Yeah. So it definitely swayed me a lot. You know, that was a good conversation that we had.
No doubt. I almost like it. No, I shouldn't say almost. I do like it, and I have a deeper appreciation for where I'm going when I see that, and I can recognize those faults in myself.
Right.
And going forward, I need to make sure. Because I don't want to slip. I don't ever want to go back to that kind of thinking, that kind of mentality.
And
where
what really?
And we've talked about before. Sorry, cut you off.
Yeah, right.
There are certain things I won't sway on.
Right.
And we don't need to get into that right now.
Right.
There are certain things.
There are some red lines.
Right. That.
Right.
Look, we're not deviating here.
Yeah.
There is no, and you know those things.
Oh yeah.
Because.
a lot of them we agree on.
Right.
I think, you know, especially with hunters in Michigan. I mean, what is bred into every deer hunter here in this state is F the DNR. Yeah. Right. Yeah. Like it just as a kid, you were told that. You know, your dad hated the DNR. Right. Your grandpa hated the DNR. Right. God, they have a movie where, you know, they were.
Yeah. And not that I.
So you kind of are almost bred.
There's still a difference between interactions with people in certain authoritative positions, and we could have a whole different conversation about how I feel about that. Because those haven't always been positive, even when I wasn't doing anything wrong.
And you know, some of them that I had were terrible.
Right, I'm not doing anything wrong. I'm by the book.
Right.
I buy my licenses. I abide by all the regulations as far as hours.
Yeah.
You know, as close as my knowledge can get me.
exactly.
You'd be hard pressed to try to find something I did wrong.
Right.
You know, and if it was a slight deviation of a rule that maybe I didn't clear on, or whatever. So to come up with me and have an attitude with me,
yeah, like you're
assuming
criminal right
assuming that I treat me like I did something wrong, no.
And I've had some terrible interactions, but I've had some great ones.
How about you approach me like I've been doing everything right?
Yeah.
Until I prove I did something wrong.
Yeah, until I show you or you discover that I did something wrong.
Right.
And even then, most of the time when people do things wrong, I bet it was ignorance. Right?
It was a mistake.
It wasn't, don't make a criminal out of someone that's stupid.
Look at those rule books.
Yeah, you need a college degree to understand them anymore, I'd still say that the majority of the interactions I've had with the DNR have been great and positive. Like, I've met some great officers that were just fantastic.
And for those listening, DNR is Department of Natural Resources. Yeah. They're like game wardens.
Yeah. Our
depends on what part of the country you're from.
Woodland police.
Right.
And I've gotten to interact with them in different levels, whether it's deer hunting, waterfowl hunting, fishing, ice fishing, across the board, where I've had to interact with them. And I've had a couple of really bad interactions, but it's like anything else. Now that I'm older, wiser, like I understand that any profession you're going to have, some bad staff. The police is the same way. I've, had a couple of really crappy interactions with police officers, and honestly, I've had some really good ones too. So.
Right. But it seems like there's certain branches of law enforcement where it seems like there are more. There's a certain attitude that follows the profession, right?
Sure.
It just seems that way.
Yeah.
I was looking.
Couldn't make it in the military, so you decided to be a state cop.
I'm not going to go that far.
I called it out.
Yeah, I'm not going to go that far, but I wanted to see what the radar looked like.
Yeah.
This
is some pretty good thundering going on.
I'm shocked. There we go. I'll click on that one. Get rid of you.
Yeah, storm right on us.
Come on.
So yeah, hopefully, people enjoy this, watching us kind of debate things back and forth, because we get into them pretty deep. Obviously, this is our very first video.
Oh,
probably a little clumsy. Wow, it's a good sized storm.
Oh, damn.
Yeah, it's going to be storming for a few minutes.
Oh man.
Ooh, that's a good one.
Yeah, it is.
So it'll be a little clunky at first, but we'll tighten it up as we go on.
100%.
Sure.
And our conversations will continue to
evolve
and they'll get better and more nuanced, and there's gonna be times where we're just dipshits.
Sure. Absolutely.
Especially if we get high into a podcast. I don't drink.
I'm not a smart man.
But
and hopefully this right here, having a channel will push us to be even that much more disciplined and thought.
Yeah, because one thing I don't
thought-provoking.
And again, this is just our opinions, but I never want to just give misinformation.
No.
We know the channels out there that bend the truth to get clicks, get you watching. I have no interest. If you come here to listen to us bullshit for a couple hours while we're barbecuing some food.
I hope you do, I hope you have as much fun with it.
Sit around,
this is our life.
We bullshit for once a week, and we eat some good barbecued food and hang out,
Yep. This actually is just recording what we normally do anyways. We're not changing anything other than my beautiful beard. That's the only change.
That turned out better than I thought.
Yeah.
Yeah. I really thought I was going to struggle to keep a straight face.
Oh yeah, with the hat. I mean,
I love it.
I look good, man.
I like it. I can't wait till you put the other one on maybe next week.
Yep. Yeah, I'll change it up.
Yeah.
You know, each video will change it up a little bit. Who knows? Maybe I'll make a deal when we hit like 1,000 subs or something. I'll take the hat and beard off and just do sunglasses.
Whoa.
And,
Ooh, I was thinking like 1 million.
Okay, or that. I don't know how likable we really are. Can we get 1 million subs? Maybe. I hope so. It'd be fun.
Sweet.
Have people comment on here and say, that fat guy, he's kind of a bonehead.
Hey, the interaction alone,
Sure.
It'll be interesting to see other people's perspectives.
Oh, I can't
topics
wait.
we talk about.
I can't wait.
About. I was trying to think of something I'd seen this week. I'm a little slow today. It's fine.
Yeah. This week
Drinking
was kind
energy
of,
drink. I just been.
the last couple weeks leading into this, and I was dying. I wanted to fire this up so bad because there was so much going on that, we could have just deep dive for hours and hours on some of this stuff.
What, you don't mean we shouldn't talk about Mar-a-Lago raid?
Yeah, right. Like everybody else,
right.
Sure.
Right.
But again, then given just the normal person's, just an average
I'm not
joke,
making
right?
fun of anybody.
Yeah.
I get it. But there's so much of that content
it was saturated.
And we
right?
probably would have touched on it. I'm sure.
I think
brought
so.
it up.
And I think we probably would have given it a little bit of a twist. Like I said, because we're not professional political analysts or anything,
No.
It was just two normal guys and what they thought about it.
Yeah.
So
no, I really don't mean to make fun of it.
it's
just
it's funny though.
it just
it
again,
was saturated.
how many
video after video,
right,
podcast after podcast, like it was in every one of them, and that's what I meant
if it
earlier.
comes up, if it came up in here, it's not going to be the headline or the thumbnail.
No.
Or, you know what I'm saying?
Hopefully, the thumbnail's a really beautiful woman in a bikini. Clickbait. Watch us debate her. Oh, psych. It wouldn't have been the headline. It would have been something we would have touched on and then moved on to something else too. Especially if we're going to get into Trump, and things like that. Like I would rather talk about him as a person, my thoughts and opinions about him, and not necessarily, his mansion. That I got my opinions on that too, no doubt. But we'll see. There's going to be no shortage of opportunities to talk about Trump or the FBI raid, because this seems like it's
in politics in general, considering it's end of August.
Yeah, we're getting in. That's political season now, man.
I was watching a local person running for a high position in this state.
Right.
And it was a slander against it was an ad, a TV commercial.
Right.
Which I barely watch any TV.
Yeah.
Just watch the local channels to get the
melt your
weather pretty
brain.
much. Outside of that, I don't even have cable. But it was a slander ad, however you want to say it. It was a negative ad toward this person, right?
Sure.
And I could tell the way they cut off the interview.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, there's more to that conversation.
Sure.
They snipped. So I went on YouTube. It took a little finding.
You found it?
I found it, and I watched the whole...
Taken out of context?
It's a little more complicated.
Okay.
It's not that it was...
It was just cut short.
It was cut short to make it look... I don't want to say this. To make the person look more cold-hearted, I guess, than what the conversation...
Really?
Because they added more to it. But they cut it off right there just to kind of frame it a certain way.
Yeah.
Not that they didn't... Yes, that person was saying that, but then they added some more,
there was more
to it. And it's like, but I knew the way... But now, again, right? Recognizing it.
Sure.
I recognize the way they cut it off. I'm like, oh, I see what they did.
Right.
But how many people...
For one,
how many people go on YouTube and I want to see the rest of that?
No, a lot of people just, they're busy, right? Mm-hmm. Everyone's got 100 things going on at the same time in their mind. They catch part of it. They don't even really digest any of it. They catch the headline as what's in their head. Right. I think If you, I absolutely hate negative campaigning, and I know why they do it. It works, but I hate it. Don't tell me to vote for you because that person believes this, that, and that. Tell me to vote for you because you believe in this, this, and this.
Right.
You know what I mean? Right. Inspire me to go to the polls and cast a ballot for you because you deserve the vote, not because you're the lesser of two evils. Or I don't even really know anything about you as a candidate. I just know all this negative stuff about the person you're campaigning against, right? I hate that.
Well, like, the other thing I noticed about someone in the state running was they said, elect me, and I'll make sure I get this done.
Right.
Well, you're already in that position. Why do I got to re-elect you to get you to do it?
Why didn't you do it already?
Why don't you start doing it right now?
I mean, I don't know. For 15 years, we've been being told that our roads are going to get fixed.
Right.
Oh, yeah. There we go. Yeah. There's a good one. We can go on for a couple hours about.
Which, funny you said that. I got in this conversation the other day with Curly when we were coming home.
Yeah.
And I apologize. I meant to have... it's funny, this came up. And this blew my mind when I found out how much it costs to repave a road per mile.
Okay.
Because I thought, how do they fix this problem? How do they fix this problem?
Ouch. And to think equipment cost is like the lowest part of it. That's not what I would have thought.
So what we're looking at here
surprised.
is, and this isn't the exact one I looked at before, but pretty much it says it costs $1 million per mile to repave a road.
So you know what that means. There's no millage ever or tax that that will actually cover that. They couldn't raise enough money.
And here it says every road paving plan is different, obviously. The cost of paving a road depends on where it's located, how wide it is, and several other factors. However, a good rule of thumb is that every mile of road costs at least $1 million to repave, taking into account labor, equipment, and pavement expenses. And here there's a little diagram that says, you can read that if you want.
Equipment costs, they're saying estimated at $2,000. Labor cost at $21,000. And pavement cost is $980,000. Wow, that is absolutely different than what I would have thought.
But when you drive down these roads, and you look at how many of them are in,
they're terrible, just disintegrating.
They need to be. There is no, you can't
saving it. No, you got to tear it up and redo it.
They're just crumbling, especially at the shoulders, because I run out there, and they're just crumbling at the shoulders. How do you fix that?
It'd be $1 trillion.
I don't even know. We're talking here. I'm talking.
I guess go back
macro.
Go back to dirt
big
roads,
picture. How do you fix that in the United States? How do you?
Man,
isn't that crazy?
Well, I guess if it was an easy fix, they probably would have done it then, huh? We'd have good roads. I guess that makes sense why we don't.
I'm talking like going forward.
Because they tax us 20 cents per gallon, and a fuel tax that's supposed to go to roads. Some pieces of profits from casinos is supposed to go to roads. Millages that's supposed to go to roads, but roads, I never really see many roads get fixed, And if they do, they're just pieces of them, like. Yeah, so that.
Look at this.
That's a little complicated.
Look at these numbers.
Guess.
Look at here.
Yeah.
That's.
Wow. So I guess.
Now these are new construction.
This is a little bit more.
Oh, here's mill and resurface, which is real common, right?
Wow.
With a 5 foot paved shoulder, 2 lane.
Yeah.
Normal.
Wow.
So what this says here is mill and resurface 2 lane rural road with 5 foot paved shoulders, is $500,000 pretty much. $478,977
A mile.
a mile.
Yeah.
Now think about the main road.
Yeah.
You know,
How many miles?
the big
is
5-lane.
that? Yeah.
Look what it says for just a 3. Let's find a 5-lane.
Right here.
Turn.
Yeah, there's
right
one
there.
down there. Yep.
Look at that. Mill resurfaced 5-lane rural road with which we use out here. 5-foot paved shoulder. So 5 lanes would be 2 north, 2 south, a turn lane in the center, and then a 5-foot shoulder, which is real common on that main road. $1.245 million per mile.
That's a lot. So now here, you know what? Now this is great because here's an opportunity for everyone to see how this works, because I just kind of got schooled on this, and now I'm backpedaling a little, going, okay, maybe this is a little more complicated than I thought. And instead of just, wanting to throw a politician in a grinder and grind them up for not, metaphorically, right? Like, I don't really want to stick anyone in a wood chipper, but I'm saying, how you grind on somebody for not fixing it, because we've had politician after politician here promise to fix this, and they never do. Well, okay, maybe it's not so easily done.
2-lane rural road, $500,000 mill and resurface.
I gotta admit,
$500,000 per
I'll admit
mile.
I don't have a solution to that. I don't. I think it's impossible to, unless you took every bit of income from everybody. I don't
even know.
I don't even know how you would do that.
You're
not gonna raise.
Which is money. Even a bigger problem when I look at it, because I'm like, how do you fix this?
Right. Wow. That definitely is more complicated.
It goes back to what we're talking about nature taking over, right?
Right. Oh, yeah.
Like, as a landowner, like I said, it's everything I can do with the weed whacker, chainsaw, and a rider, and just to keep
it back and keep your yard nice,
Yeah, just to keep nature from continuing. Because you remember
how
bad it got out there.
Oh, yeah.
It's like, geez, it's like just 1 or 2 years of neglecting it, and all of a sudden...
Oh, man, I don't know how many documentaries I've watched, and, South America in the jungles, like, where these, and they'll reconstruct what this village used to look like, and they were huge and massive, and they had temples and pyramids, and the jungle just ate it. It's gone. Like, what is it? They use the LDAR now, I think it's called, the
LiDAR.
LiDAR, excuse me.
Yeah.
And they can,
map
shoot,
out.
Map it out with shooting the laser across
crazy?
there, and kind of reconstruct it, and some of the stuff that they're finding that, the naked eye, you'd have walked right past it and never known it was there. The jungle just consumed it, Mother Nature is always trying to take back what's hers,
It might be too dark when you leave tonight. The house.
Yeah.
The red one there?
Yeah.
Fucking tree growing out the window.
I seen that out the window.
I'm like...
How in the hell is... It must have went through the floorboard. I don't know.
It's just in this short time, right?
Yeah. A handful of years.
Nature's just starting to...
I'm telling you, 10 years from now, that won't even be there anymore.
Isn't that crazy?
Yeah.
I drove by the other day, I'm like, no way.
Yeah.
It came through the window?
Right. I mean, it is... The vehicle sitting there's another one that, eventually, like, it'll just be consumed by
just in that short amount of time. I'm like,
and it kind of it reminded me, because, this is a conversation we touched on last week. It kind of reminded me of I Am Legend, right? You know what I mean? When he's what city was he in? New York, I think it was, and like it was just woods, not Times Square, the Central Park that they got was just overgrown and full of wildlife, and it was like in the middle of it's like being in the forest.
Yeah.
It kind of reminded me of that. The roads had trees going through them, and it was crazy. You just
when I saw that, I just started thinking, like, man, it wouldn't take long.
No.
And seeing the roads crumbling, and then seeing that house, I'm like, how do you fix it?
I don't know. I always thought maybe 100,000 years from now, someone's gonna be, digging a hole there and going, look, there was a civilization that used to live right here, some sort of futuristic archaeologist,
Possibly the way things
paleontologists digging up our bones, like, you know.
the way things are going.
Right.
God.
Yeah, it kind of makes you think, though. You know, it wouldn't take long, and the world would erase any footprint of humanity. Just about. You know, it'd almost be really easy to travel the world and not even know that there was a human ever here.
Well, like they're cutting those power lines out there.
Yeah.
And
because in a handful of years, they'll
the last time they did it, I think it was 16 or 17 years ago. At that time, they told me they'd be doing it every 5 years.
Right.
Now, 16, 17 years ago.
Right.
I should have asked him, how long does it... Because I seen him doing it last winter when they marked my property. I seen him starting on the other way out. And it took him from last winter to almost this winter. I mean...
Almost a year.
You know, give me a break, right? But you know what I'm saying? Just to get here.
Better part of a year.
How long... I should have asked him, how long does it take to do the whole county?
Yeah, because by the time they get to one side of the county,
that's what I was getting at.
Over. It's just a continuous.
And is that why it's taken them 17 years to get back here?
You know, probably. No, again,
or is it they don't have the money?
A couple years ago, I would have said, "Oh, the county workers, you know, whatever."
But they're not
working
contracted.
that hard. Yeah, no, they're contracted.
They're not county workers. They're contracted by the electric company to do that. I think there was probably a time. We go down a rabbit hole here.
Yeah,
there was probably a time where it was maybe at a county level. I don't know. There had to be, because even the ditch mowing. Yeah, I've seen them mow once this year.
Right.
They usually mow.
Yeah, they've been by my place once. I think that they cut it with the mower, and then I seen the mower go by a couple days ago.
They used to do it once a month.
Yeah.
So whatever. Whenever they started, I think April or May.
Yeah.
May, maybe? This was the first time? They did like May, June. No, maybe it was June. It was somewhere around there. They started either May or June they started. And then they'd usually finish up, this time of year or September would be their last month. I think last year we saw them twice, and I've only seen them once this year. So
might not even see them again this year.
Right.
And some obviously staffing issues and stuff like the country's not in great shape right this second with so that definitely is going to hurt it some too.
But
they probably don't have enough people to
further exacerbates this problem here with
because like mosquito control. I think
we saw them once this year.
I don't even think I've seen them yet this year. Now I might have missed it. They might have sprayed, but
I know we did see them.
Man, when I was young, it was every 3 days.
Right.
I'd go by your house,
And maybe
of course some they change it because I don't know if it was like killing bees or what. So, things have changed a lot.
Yeah, no doubt.
And not always for the better.
Have they changed?
Yeah.
Oh,
don't get me started on chemtrails. We can see who wears the tinfoil hat here.
Oh man, I don't know. We need to get off that subject. Because it's just it just doesn't make sense to me how I don't see any way out of this.
I don't know.
I don't know if it's individual state budgets. I don't know if other states deal with the same issue. Because this isn't local. These numbers,
right?
This is from
probably some national
federal DOT.
Yeah.
Yep. So. Fed.gov. Say that. Fed.gov.
Wow.
Yeah. So.
Yeah, I don't know how you solve that. I got humbled a little bit when you brought that up because I was more amped to blame the politician, and now I got to think, okay, well, maybe they shouldn't promise things that they can't deliver on. Okay, but why not? You know what? They should just come out with a billboard with this and stand in front of it and say, look, guys, this is what we're facing.
Right.
And I don't really know exactly how to fix it, so email some ideas in and let's brainstorm this and come up with an idea because another 10 years we're all going to be on dirt roads.
Well, that's what I'd like to know. Do other states have problems like this? Is this?
I don't know.
Because I hear a lot of people come here and go, "You guys' roads are shit."
Yeah, your roads suck.
So why aren't these people, politicians here, going to other states saying, "Hey, what are you guys doing different than we're doing?"
Do they actually have the money and it's just like slush fund out to everybody in there?
I don't know.
I'd like to know.
I'd be interested to find out myself.
But yeah, well, there you go. You got to see me get humbled on camera a little bit, because that is not what I thought. I'll tell you for certainty.
I didn't know until
and even the breakdown in cost was kind of backwards to what I would have thought. That actually surprised me. Wow.
Yeah.
That make you think a little.
It's a hell of a lot higher than I thought it would be.
Oh yeah.
I didn't. Honestly, when we talked about it, I was like, I don't even know. I couldn't even put a number. I don't know. Right. I didn't know if it was 100,000 or $1 million.
I would have guessed 250,000, maybe 200,000. Nothing like that. That's astronomical compared to what I thought it would have been. So
just the supply cost.
Right. And I'll guarantee right now it's probably even a lot worse. You know, if they could even get half the stuff for it.
Fertilizer for the food plot.
You found some? Ooh,
$35 a bag.
Ouch.
You know what lime costs a bag now?
How much?
$8 a bag.
Holy crap. Hear that, Southern Prepper one? There, boots on the ground.
I was like, I remember buying lime for like $3 a bag.
Yeah.
And even last year, I think I paid...
Very inexpensive.
Like $4 and some change. I knew it had gone up a little bit. But $8 a bag gets you a bag of triple 19 fertilizers, $35 a bag. That doubled.
But
that was $18 last year.
Everything, I went to a party store. And I walked out with one bag. Yeah. And it was $28.
Yeah, no doubt.
And I'll guarantee it was a handful of monsters and some potato chips and maybe a beef jerky. That's not, a bunch of syntax for cigarettes and things like that and lottery tickets. Like, seriously, it was a handful of stuff in a little plastic bag, and it was $28.
How about that?
And I didn't even get fuel there.
No?
God, had I added fuel in there, it'd have been $150.
It blew my mind. That bag of Doritos, $5.59.
$5.59
for a bag, just regular, not family, just a regular.
Yeah, the family one I told you I bought the week before, and it was over $7 for Doritos.
And I don't remember 2 years ago how many ounces came. I guess I could look it up, but
they definitely changed.
I wonder if there's less.
I'm sure, because I'm telling you, the regular normal bag of Doritos is smaller than what it used to be. It's barely bigger than what the grab bags used to be. Yeah. For 99 cents. It didn't feel like and now they're like little baby bags. Like, everything is shrinkflation,
We made nachos the other night, and we use a certain brand of nacho chips. And so before they got home, it was Friday. I'm like, I'll get everything around. They get home that way. We can just have dinner and not. I like getting ahead of stuff.
Sure.
So, the first bag of chips I put on the platter, and it barely covered the bottom. I'm like, what?
There's less.
Like, I know we make these consistently
for years.
Yeah, so I know how many it takes to cover the bottom layer. Then we put some stuff on, make a second layer.
It's sad.
The second bag was about right.
Right.
So either
one bag they cheated and put
either
less
they
in.
did, or just production is causing them to not their quality control.
The things I've been seeing online, I mean, this is a common complaint of, you buy a package that's supposed to have a dozen cookies in there, you open up and there's 10.
Right.
Or a box of like Go-Gurts and the two in the middle are missing. Right. So is that on purpose, or is it just short staffing and, like you said, quality control's just not there right now?
And I've seen this in production before, where the customer needed a certain amount, right?
Sure.
So there's no 100% guarantees, right? So we'll short this box 5 or 10, make this one
every fifth
short
box,
that one 15.
Imagine how much money
we'll put 3 extra in the other, but in the end,
And then things that were supposed to be like 12 ounces, I've seen now are like 11.21 or 11.25 ounces. They're shrinkflation for sure. A lot of that's happening right now.
So at the end of the run, you know, we got the customer the amount they needed.
Right.
But they really end up being short.
Sure.
But hey, you know, like,
you
know, we must, you know, somehow.
I used to, back in the day when I ate a lot of fast food, and I'll leave the restaurant unnamed, but it's a big one that everybody knows. And I kept telling everyone, man, when you go through the drive-thru and you get your meal and your fries, like, the fries are always half full. They're never topped off all the time. But if you go in...
Are you saying recently? Or
before.
Like, how far before?
A couple years ago, you know, when I used to eat fast food.
So you're saying at the drive-thru...
Yes. You would always drive away and they short you your fries. And, you know, you get home, you pull everything out of the bag and your fry container's half full, right? Well, you're not going to drive all the way back and go, really? You know, you shorted me fries. But if you go in to eat, the fries were always overflowing, pouring out on the tray, like, and I complained about it a couple times, and people thought I was crazy. So I took a couple people in there and said, look, today we're going to go in and eat, watch the fries you get. Tomorrow we're going to come to the same restaurant, and we're going to go through the drive-thru, and you'll see. And I proved it every single time. And I thought, you know, they got to do that on purpose.
That's what was happening, huh?
Yep, they got to do it on purpose. Because it was so relatively consistent.
So what was the purpose of them shorting?
Save money. Think about it. You know. Yeah.
But didn't they?
Because at first I thought it was just
out if they gave the
sloppiness,
people extra inside? Wouldn't have balanced.
But are they really? When they fill it up and there's 4 or 5 fries out on the tray, I mean that's how every fry should look, right? That's how they used to be.
I mean, we know
when you were young. You'd reach in the bag and there was a container of fries, and then there was loose fries in the bottom too.
Yeah,
right?
I do remember that.
Not anymore.
Yeah, everybody wanted the extra bag fries, right?
Yeah.
Those are the ones you get on the way home.
Yeah,
right?
exactly. Yeah. So
we know that's why they fill the cup with ice, though, right?
Right.
You got to tell them, hey, no ice,
or light ice.
Light ice.
Yeah, I always ordered
quarter
with light ice.
Yeah. Yeah, because same reason, right? You get less.
Now I did see a video on TikTok where they took the small, medium, and large, and you could pour, because of the shape of the cup, a small drink filled the medium cup, which filled the large cup. Now I gotta try this to see. How does
that work?
Because in my mind I thought
it's
the shape of the cup.
No shit.
So you're getting the same amount with a small drink as you are a large.
What?
I'm telling you. No, I seen it. I want to try it.
Try this. You gotta let me know.
We'll try it. We'll try it next weekend. You know, we'll put it in the video and see.
That'd be crazy.
Just put some tape over the restaurant, the name of the restaurant, and we'll just. They put the 3 cups up. They got a small one, poured it in the medium, and it filled it right up. Poured it in the large, it filled it right up. And I thought, no way. No, are you serious? So I want to try this and see how legit that is.
Yeah. No shit.
It looked pretty legit.
Man.
That'd be sad, huh? All these years buying a large drink, and you could have just bought the small one and got the same amount.
Well, we gotta find out.
We gotta do it.
Man, that's shady.
It is. It's very shady. That's scandalous right there, man. Just terrible.
You just have to do it because it doesn't. It does. You know what I'm saying? Like in your head, you're like, no, right?
Right.
But I don't want to have that.
Yeah. In my head, I was like, all right, how are they cheating? Do they have these partially filled with liquid already?
I'm gonna stay open-minded.
You know, is there more ice? You know what I mean? Like I was trying to justify this somehow. Like
so am I, but I'm just gonna have to see.
We're just gonna have to do the test and see. Because if that really is legit and it works, like my jaw's, my beard's gonna fall off. No doubt. It was amazing. I thought, no way. That
just like the people that claim that cheeseburger looks exactly the same as it did.
Yeah. Which is, I guess because when I was in college, taking business, we did marketing, advertising, things like that, and there's like false advertisement. And that was one of the questions that I actually brought to a professor. Said, "Isn't this false advertising?" I said, "No, it's called fluffery. That they have a certain amount of exaggeration that they are allowed to legally do. That it's not considered false advertising." And honestly, how many double cheeseburgers have you opened where the patties are like,
No.
and the cheese is like half in the wrapper because they couldn't put, and you know, that's just sloppy workmanship, you know.
Yeah.
Could they actually make that burger look a lot more like the one that's advertised? Sure. I mean, the one that they took the picture of, that was 1 out of 100, right? They had 100 people make a burger, and then a judge went through and picked the very best one.
It's even worse than that. It's even worse than that.
Now it's probably just
The
computer
stuff,
generated.
No, the stuff isn't even real. Like, I watched, and again, I'm assuming it's real, but like they're showing like how they make a pancake commercial.
Yeah.
And they claim that it's actually motor oil being poured on, not syrup.
Not syrup. So it looks thicker. And
I don't want to, it doesn't.
Wow.
Syrup looks good poured on pancakes. Yeah. Why would you have to fake that?
So it pours slower,
I don't know.
I guess.
But they were going through
like,
talking about how, like, you know, this isn't really real or that's not real, to get the right pose and make it look like spritzing the patty with, you know, water or whatever.
Well, even with archery, you know, you have IBO, which is kind of the standard of speed, right? This bow, IBO, 333 feet per second out of 100 bows. That was the one that could do it. And that's at a 30-inch arrow shaft and, you know, the exact weight.
I think this is even worse than that. I watched John Dudley video the other day. Yeah. And he said an archery company he worked for back in the day.
Right.
Bought every chronograph on the market till they got one that agreed, that shot the speed they wanted to advertise, just so they could claim they're both shot this. I was like,
legally claim it.
I was like, what?
Yeah.
That's what he claimed.
So business ain't no friend to the consumer, right? No. None of them. You know.
Yeah.
But like now, a lot of like things that I've heard online is pricing being wrong. You know, you grab something off the shelf, it's $3.69. They bring it up, it's $4.59, and you know they're claiming, well, we don't have enough staff to change to keep up with the price changes. Which there's probably some truth to that, I would imagine. But come on, don't tell me these companies ain't taking advantage of that. Also, right? Yeah. Because how many do you really watch everything bring up?
I think in this state, they have to give you the shelf tag
they're
price.
Supposed to.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
And because
I bought something the other day, and we got there to self-check, scanned it, and it was like $2 or $3 more.
Right.
And I'm like, shelf tag said whatever.
And they honored it.
Yeah. Good.
Yeah.
I said, hey, someone should change that if that's the case.
Right.
I went in there just the other day, and that was like 3 weeks ago. I went there the other day, it still says the same price.
So they're hoping to, you know, either that or they really truly don't have the staff that.
Yeah,
but
maybe.
I mean, after 3 weeks, you would think, even short-staffed, you would eventually get to it. So I think they're banking on.
Most people just scan and go.
You know? And even if you do catch it, you're like, whatever. Just I'm in a hurry. Let's just go.
It's not worth the hassle. Have them go back.
A lot of the stories that I was hearing are reports of that happening to people, and that's across the country. That ain't just in our state. A lot of them did get it honored when they caught it, but there were a few reports where they said no, and the people just left the product there and said, "Fine, I'm not going to buy it then." You know.
Yeah.
So I imagine those companies they're banking on people not catching that. You know.
That's
sad. Tough times make tough people, right?
There's a lot out there, right?
Yeah.
There's a lot of problems out there from
no shortage of them. That's for sure.
Oh my God. And I assume again, right? Like just because the information travels so freely. It probably
always
seems
been
compounded.
Bad, but, yeah.
Well, I don't know if it's always been this bad, but there's probably been other times where it's equally as bad, but the information didn't travel as freely. So maybe
when it took 2 weeks
bad
for something to get across the country, by the time it got there, the crisis was over. And I think this is probably worse than it's been in a very long time. It's the worst it's ever been in our lifetime. Yeah, I believe that.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, it's been a trying.
Think it's going to
20 years.
Yeah.
You know, you know.
I'd agree with that.
Large, vast majority of my adult life.
Yeah.
It's been,
Right. Yeah, there's ups and downs, but the trajectory has kind of been consistently kind of down, right? It's just trending that way. Like I don't know. It should be very interesting the next year.
Well,
next 5 years.
I would say
kind of
minimum next 5 years. I bet I mean, we can go. Have we recovered?
God, we've been down this rabbit hole.
Right.
You know. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. I mean, I would assume we're in for a decade.
Oh yeah, I'd agree.
At least.
Yep.
Because
the good times of our youth, I don't know that me and you will ever even see that in our lifetime. I kind of doubt that we'll ever see it that good again. You know. I think eventually it will get better, and it'll climb that way. I think for our kids, they'll end up with some really good times, hopefully. But
that even in itself, the good times of our youth, right?
Were they really that good though, too? You know,
I think that's relative, right, to the fact that you are young and you just don't.
Carefree.
It's not in your peripheral. You know, you're not concerned with the thing adults are. So I think we always look back and think.
I think there's some truth to that. I think with me though, like, you know, I was the kid at 7 years old that would get up on Sunday morning and watch Meet the Press.
Yeah.
So like politics and stuff has always fascinated me. I didn't even watch the cartoons. I watched the news. You know, there are definitely some things that just outright changed for the worse. You know, obviously media. There's always been some corruption in that, no doubt, you know, or bias.
Some persuasion,
right? Sure.
Some bias, yeah.
You know, when you believe something so strongly and you're trying to report it, you know, fair and balanced, it's going to bleed through some. You just expect some of that. You can hardly help it, but, you know, outright lying at this level, and now this openly, like, they don't even hide it anymore. It's like, I've never seen it this bad. I've never seen the FBI used the way it has been in the last handful of years.
They don't even hide it. You're right.
Right.
Because how many people do what I did with that politician and actually go back and watch that whole interview and they're like, well, it's a fuzzy variation of the truth, right? How many people do that? Like
not many.
Do it all the time. You know, there's so much shit coming at them. You know.
Right. Well, between that and, you know.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Let's get into, you know, Facebook or social media and jump into the matrix and just kind of forget about reality.
Right. Because
go to my happy place. Safe space.
Even
I think now they're going to call it the metaverse. You know?
Yeah, even that, it's like shaping the reality you want, right?
Right.
It's like, I can't do anything about this reality, my life, right?
But in this one, I can jump in and create it exactly the way I want.
I can be who I want.
Yeah, I could be, you know.
I can walk by a Ferrari and take a picture and be like, taking this for a spin today.
Yep.
You know, and
Yep. Oh, yeah.
What percentage of people on social media do you think?
Oh, God. I already know where you're going. Go ahead.
Like, how many people have picked something up in the store and just bought said item that they really can't afford or whatever?
Oh, yeah.
And then put it down.
Well, I had the joke, because I was, you know, obviously available and trying to date in this world now is just weird. I can't say it's really fun. And, you know, the girls, like, they complain about the men. Oh, they just want the one thing, right? You know, and writing their bios, like, if this is what you want, just keep going. And, you know, they make men sound so bad. But what I found is, you know, the women on there are pretty terrible, too. It's like, they ask you a question like, how are you? What do you do for a living? It's like the second question, right? Or, you know, they're talking to you really hard for a day or two, seem like overly interested in you, maybe, like pushing it a little deeper than what it just kind of would naturally, organically move. And then they hit you with the, you know, I really want to come and visit you, but my car's in the shop. Could you send me $500? Like, you know, and I wonder how many people actually, because they're lonely and vulnerable, they fall for that and send money for that. And I thought, good Lord. So, you know, my next line then when I say hi to someone and they're like, hi, how are you? What do you do for a living? I'm a scientist. I'm an astronaut. You know what I mean? I'm back here for 3 weeks on leave, and you know I want to go hang out. I'm just gonna make it dumb because you know it's so shallow. You know, it drives me crazy. Like, there's a lot of just people taking advantage. You know, it amazed me. It was something I learned down there I hadn't expected, and I'll guarantee the women are just as bad as the men, no doubt. So yeah, are there people that stand in front of something and say, you know, I just bought this? Absolutely. There's not a doubt in my mind that, you know, because you look at, go through your friends on social media and look, everyone's got a perfect life. Yeah. You know what I mean? They're big on vacation, happy family, you know, the kids are hugging on the parents, and you know, and just raising kids, and I know, like, it's not always that way, you know, and there's times I would bet that my kids probably laid in bed going, I hate my dad. Right. You know what I mean? Why can't he get hit by a bus? You know? It's not that perfect. No. And people don't tend to post the yucky stuff, right? It's just all the happy. Not. So they have created this parallel reality to what they're living in. And that's why I said a long time ago, I made that connection to the Matrix movie. Like, to me, it made sense. Like, everyone jumps in the bubble, you know, and granted, they weren't getting jacked in, which now they're going to start getting jacked in. That's even scarier with the metaverse. But I think people, as soon as social media hit and it really started to take off, I think people jumped in it and just made the life that they wish that they had sometimes and not the one that they really got.
So they can...
It's off.
So they can portray... They can portray a life they don't have just so people will look at them with envy?
Yes, exactly. So that they feel good about themselves. You know, they're basing their worth on what people value them at. And you know, I've been as guilty of it as anyone else. You know, I kind of woke up from this, what would you call, hibernation that I was in, you know, sleepwalking my way through this. I did the same thing. You know, how many times did I go through pictures and, you know, there was 8 pictures of me and this person, and I picked the one with the best angle, showed my nice teeth the best way, or, you know, made my jawline look a little stronger. Yeah.
I don't know that that's as bad as intentionally
not as bad,
saying,
but I'm
like,
saying, I mean, like, you know, it's kind of the same idea, though. You know what I mean? You're not posting the ugly. You're not going to post the picture where you got the zit, right? Oh, man, I didn't know I had a pimple on there. So, oh, look at it. I'm looking the other way. I'll use that one. Yeah. So, are there people on there posting pictures of them with their piece of shit car? Probably not. You know, they're not going to post a picture of them with a pimple. Yeah, they would stand in a parking lot next to a nice SUV, go, look at me and my new Escalade. Right, you know? Right. Yeah, I believe that. I believe that happens a lot.
You almost feel bad, you know? Like,
right, it's sad. Be yourself.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Just be you, man. Be real.
That's what
I'm trying to do.
That's what... You know? That's what we need more of.
Yeah.
People just be nicer to each other. That's just one thing
nice.
I've really worked on is, you know, driving.
Right. Road raging.
I've never been a road rager, but, you know.
I'm guilty of that.
Definitely,
we know that.
Like, under my breath, I'm like, F that guy, you know, like, now I'm just like, must be in a hurry.
I was a lot more outgoing with my road rage than you.
Yeah.
That's we can admit that. And I don't anymore. I don't. I was already dialing that back because, you know, I'm on this journey now, right? To be a better person, be a better father, better brother, better friend, you know, better neighbor, just a better human. And I started slowing down in my mind, like, before I get angry, just stop and say, why does it matter? I got extra time. I have this thing about being late. Like, you know, I panic a lot until I get... And I'm always like an hour early. It's stupid. So I'm never going to be late. Even if I ran into traffic, because I leave so early to make sure that I'm there, you know, way before I need to be. Why am I getting mad? I got plenty of time to get there, right? And then you tell me the story of your friend, right? Which you can share... that and not, you know, out anybody, but it reinforced that, like, you know, exactly that is exactly why you should not get mad when you're driving, just give yourself enough time to get there, plus a few minutes. You know what I mean? And enjoy the drive.
Yeah.
I spent so much time yelling out the window or kind of, doing the...
yeah, to somebody that like, you don't even know, you're never going to see again, that wasn't probably doing anything intentional to you. They were just trying to
do their thing. And how many deer in the field did I not see and appreciate?
Yeah.
Or sunsets or sunrises, sun kind of creeping up through the trees. Would have been beautiful, would have set the mood, made my soul and spirit feel great. And I didn't even look at it because someone is doing the speed limit.
Yeah.
And that pisses me off because I want to go 5 over. Get out of the way.
I know.
My famous line was, if everyone would just pull over and just let me through, then get back on the road and go slow. I don't care. Just get out of my way.
Yeah.
What a terrible attitude. And I had to fix that.
Me
then
too.
you reinforced it.
Me too. I used to do the same thing. Left laners, drive me nuts, and I'd ride them because there's nobody in the right lane. Left lanes for passing. I'd ride them.
Push them
sometimes flash my lights. It's like,
why not just go wrong?
Like it's so stupid. Why? What was I getting upset about?
Right.
What even made it more humbling is you do that, and they're getting in the left turn lane to turn.
Right. You find out 3 houses down, or that road. They needed to.
That's
be in
why
that
they're
lane.
in the left lane. Like, I feel like such an ass.
What a douchebag.
Right. Or like you said, someone maybe not even driving the speed limit, driving under the speed limit, and then you're like. And then you go past them and some old lady. You're like, that could have been my grandma. Why am I being such an asshole?
Yeah. Or someone.
Why ride their ass? Just when you get an opportunity, gracefully pass, use your turn signal, get back. Just
be a good
be
human.
Kinder. Just
you
be
know
kinder.
what I mean?
Just be understanding.
In a world, there's so much bad.
That could be your kid.
Yeah.
Just learning how to drive.
Just learning how to drive.
14.
You don't know when you're coming up on somebody.
Right.
You just don't know.
Right. It's like, most people are intentionally trying to ruin your day and piss you off.
So when you start road raging, though, you're intentionally trying to ruin theirs.
Yeah. Yeah, we'll get into that other story another day.
Oh, yeah.
We're knocking on 2 hours here. We should cook some dinner, man.
Sounds good to me.
All right. Let's get out of here.
All right.
See ya.
See ya.